Hi guys, so I just wanted to go over my lesson plan demo. The lesson plan title is called Commenting on Societal Vices Using Digital Satire. So this lesson is essentially introducing students to satire, the types, the techniques used, and then I am letting them demonstrate their understanding of satire um, through a digital project. So the standards associated with this are RL6, where they analyze the grasping point of view, SL2, they integrate multiple sources of information in diverse formats, and SL5, where they make strategic use of digital media. Some of the essential questions presented in this lesson are: what is satire and how is it used in contemporary society? How do authors use satire to comment on real world issues and events? And then how can I use satire to comment or critique an aspect of society? This is ultimately the end product here. Students are going to be creating their own satire to comment on societal vices. Technology use, they're going to use Dell tablets, Video Ant to annotate a satire video. They're going to use green screen technology, which we have in our media center, and then the Wii video app to record and edit their videos. So the instructional procedures, on the first day, I'm just going to use a PowerPoint to introduce satire, the types, the techniques, and give examples in society. Then on the second day, I'm going to provide them with a chart and some videos from Ellen, SNL skits, Family Guy, Jimmy Kimmel, and they're going to have to determine if it's satire or not, and if it is satire, the types used or the type used and techniques. On the third day, they're going to pick a video on YouTube and annotate it using Video Ant. That online tool is very beneficial, and I think that this is kind of the next step in demonstrating their understanding of satire. On the fourth day, I'm going to introduce the big assignment, which is the digital satire project, and I'm going to show you those directions in just a second. And then days 5 and 6, they'll essentially have just work days where they can work on their outlines, they can work on their scripts, figure out what props and costumes that they need to use, and then at the end of that day 6, they're going to submit a draft to me, and I'll give them feedback. Then on day 7, I'm going to give a green screen and Wii video app tutorial in class, and then that's going to give them time to rehearse and finalize their projects after I've given them feedback. Days 8 and 9, they'll be recording in the library. Those who are not recording will be working on their scripts and rehearsing, and then those who have finished recording will be writing their reflections on the project. And then on the final day, we will watch the video presentations in class. The assessment used is a rubric, and they're being assessed based on their product, the satirical subject, and also satirical tools and reflections. So in order to get full points, I want to see that the topic addressed is very clear, it's well developed, it's appropriate, and there's no need for any explanation after the presentation. For satirical tools and reflections, the tools should be clear and obvious. They should be well developed and appropriate. They should use at least 5 or more satirical devices, and then that they have a thoughtful reflection on the satire project. And then their product, the group puts substantial effort into the satirical piece, and the product has to be digital. That's one of the components that I forgot to mention there, and that totals 100 points. So now I want to take you to what the directions that the students will actually get here. Let's see. And this is in the Google Drive. But anyway, so they start with the problem. What problem do you want to address as a group? And they can work in groups of 2 or 3 students. That way they have enough people to actually put on their skit. But I've provided a raft, so if they're struggling to come up with what to critique or who the audience is or the format that they're going to use, this is kind of there to help them so they can look at the different ideas. So it might be the Surgeon General to tobacco users, and the format is going to be a commercial, and they're going to talk about the effects of tobacco use. Um, and then they have to come up with some sort of creative satirical response to the problem. Um, Using a digital platform. So the possible formats that they can use is they can do an artistic interpretation. So they can do some sort of television show or commercial, or they can do a musical interpretation where they create a song. But both of these projects, they have to use green screen technology and the WeVideo app. They must use 5 different satirical tools, and we've gone over these in the first few days of that lesson, so there should be no issues with incorporating those satirical tools. And then they have to have a reflection on the student work, why they chose the topic, why the particular form of satire to address the societal problem is relevant, and how the interpretation effectively satirizes the aspect you chose. So all projects have an original satire. It can be script, lyrics, but it must be videoed. And then they have to have the written reflection. Then I put the project timeline down there so they can see that as well. And then I provided an outline. So on those draft days, they're not just sitting there, they have an outline. So what's your topic? What are you critiquing? Who's the audience? Who are going to be your characters? What costumes and props do you need? What is going to be your background image of the green screen? What's your project going to look like? Which satirical techniques are you going to use? And then I have provided a dialogue creation sheet for them to either write their script or their song down to have, and this is where I will give them feedback. And then I've also provided the assessment rubric so they can see how they're going to be scored. So that is it for my video demo. Please let me know any suggestions, any feedback you have on this project. Thank you.